Hi everybody, it's Tina here from Hummingbird Tales. Today I'm here to show you an autumn journal that I've made for my dear friend Janet Hicks. We had a swap back in the autumn, but through one thing and another I wasn't able to get it completed on time. But I've now completed it, and the only thing that I know that we agreed to do was an autumn journal for each other in perhaps the size of a TN, you know, a traveller's notebook, but this has become a lot bigger than that. But anyway, what I've done is I've bought this vintage cushion cover from the charity shop, and I've made a cover out of it, and I've layered up some vintage doily. This is a piece of corrugated card. This is a picture of an owl on fabric, and Janet actually gifted this to me with a bunch of others when she gave me my autumn bag. I've made a flower here out of different silks and fabric bits and pieces, and here I've got autumn on the clasp, and there's a couple of leaves dangling here. So I think that just about covers it, and I have got a bit of Montbretia twig just because I wanted to make it look a bit rustic and like a tree, and I've also sewn around it in black. So the closure is an organza ribbon, which is this lovely gold colour, and if I can do this without knotting it, and just pull that out, this is how it's turned out. So here we go. So this is a very rustic one. I wanted it to look quite grungy, so all the pages I've distressed with my Tim Holtz distressing tool. And basically I've used ArtyMaze's Autumn Splendor kit throughout this. So this is also my ArtyMaze design project, but I'm not going to give it a month because, you know, I've got something else in mind for February. But anyway, so what I've done is I've made some tags. This one, I think that could be a picture from Edith Holden. All of the backing on the tags are from ArtyMaze's kit. And I've got This Book Belongs To, and I've also put coffee dyed paper or card on the back of them as well. I have a snippet here that I've made with some bits and pieces, and I don't know if you could see this, but this is a little, I'll get my hand out of the way, it's a little vintage charm of a leaf. And this is one of the envelopes from ArtyMaze's kit of Autumn Splendor, and inside is one of her postcards, and that again has been put on coffee dyed paper. So this is the first page. This is a page from ArtyMaze. This corner keeps coming up here, so I'm going to have to stick it down. I've got a quote here: "Autumn carries more gold in its pocket than any other season," and Jim Bishop said that. And here I've got an altered paper clip made from a piece of snippet. And there's a collage down here with some bits and pieces. On this page, I've got a tag, and again, the back of the tag is one of the tags from ArtyMaze, and I've layered this up with a squirrel that I got off Pinterest. And I've got a fabric pocket here, and this is another part of my snippet that I made. I made a long snippet roll and embellished the book and made some paper clips with it. And there's a rusted safety pin. And here's another one of my tags. Again, this has been collaged with some music paper, some cheesecloth on the back of an Edith Holden page this time. And this is a page here from ArtyMaze. It was Andrea that actually inspired me to do decoupage in this, because back in the autumn, Andrea did a few journals, a couple series actually, of showing you how to make an art journal for autumn, and she made a nature one. And sorry guys, I sent her this napkin, and I decided to use it in this journal because I just thought it was so beautiful. So on a lot of the pages I have got bits of decoupage, which is something I don't normally include in my journals, but from now on I think I will. And up here I've got Autumn Knows a Mother's Heart, It Gives and Then Lets Go. And I've got some stamping there as well. and very light stenciling in the background, the burlap around here, and this is like a wood tree sort of bark thing. Here I've got a flip up, flip down, and inside I've just put some paper there and stamped some little woodland animals on some paper. This is from one of the pages from the kit of ArtyMaze's Autumn Splendor, and here's another tag that I've made, again with Autumn Splendor's tag, and then I've layered it with some Edith Holden and a little picture I've got from Pinterest. I've got a red doily and a gold doily here. This is some of my own eco-dyed paper that I did last summer. There's trim there. This is a vintage crocheted doily, and I've added a vintage bead on there on a bulb clip. And I keep knocking my camera, I'm ever so sorry. I've got my arms around it, I'll come around this way. And this is a little owl book that I've made. This image, I can't remember where I got it from. One of the nature books I've got anyway. So I've made card back and front, and there's a tiny owl there from ArtyMaze's kits. I think it was Woodland Walk. Anyway, and I've just layered it up with some pages. So there's some extra journaling space there for Janet. So here I've got another page from ArtyMaze, and I've distressed it a little bit by spraying it with water. When I brought the pages out of the oven after coffee dyeing them, I sprayed a bit of water and some of it ran, and I really like that grungy look. This is one of the cards from the Autumn Splendor kit, and this is another journaling card from the Autumn Splendor kit. Sorry about the beeping in the back, guys. It's quite a heavy book, actually. Okay, this is some Edith Holden paper, and down the bottom I've put a little fabric snail and mushroom, and there's some decoupage up here. Edith Holden, some more decoupage, coffee dyed paper. I've stenciled leaves in the background, and this is actually mushroom napkin decoupage that I decoupaged onto some calico, and then I cut it out and put it on here. There's a little bird up there. Some more birds, some more stamping and stenciling. Here's another page from the kit, and I know it's quite difficult to read this on here, but the reason why I put this quote on this page is because it was quite browny, and the quote is, "It looked like the world was covered in a crust of brown sugar and cinnamon," and Sarah Addison Allen said that. And this reminded me of cinnamony colours, so it had to go there. And I fussy cut one of the little flowers out here from one of the pages, and this was a freebie from Junk Journal Junkies on Facebook. I'll just tighten up this little bit of trim, and I've just put a bit of trim over that little ticket. Here's another page. Here it says Autumn paints in colours that summer has never seen, and again I've done some decoupage, some stamping and some stenciling. And this little page here, I've got, if I take it all out, it might be easier to show you actually. Right, okay, so here I've got, I don't know if this was a belly band from Andrea's kit. I think I made this out of one of the pages, and I've just put this little squirrel down here to add an extra tuck, and I've got a Tim Holtz autumn card, and here is another tag I've made. Again, I've backed this one onto Edith Holden paper, and I got this little fella off the internet, so that goes in there. And then this is a feather that I managed to find in my stash that went perfectly with all this. And again, I've got another paper clip that I've made, which is just pinned up there. And here are a couple or three little tickets from Andrea's kit that I've just put a little brad on and put that in there. And on the other side, some more paper. This is from the kit. But I think I made this in the oven because it was on top of another page and the ink ran onto it, and I just love the way it came out. And this here is a real skeleton leaf that my husband dried. He went foraging in the forest or the woods down the road. He picked some leaves for me, and dried them, and then he laminated them for me. So I've included that in there for Janet. This is a little fabric hair that I got from a piece of material. And here we've got another page with a decoupage owl and some stamping and some stenciling. As you can see, I've distressed with my Tim Holtz tool all around the edges to make it really grungy. Another page from Andrea's kit with a bit of fluffy stuff here. This is just a piece of my eco-dyed paper, and there's a little die cut of a mushroom there. And on this side, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but I've basically done a collage. This is some vintage paper that I found in a charity shop. I've got a piece of Montbretia, some tea bag. This is a piece of wallpaper that I got from B&Q, and some little bits and pieces here. Another piece of Montbretia, a bit of a doily, and that's all in a glassine bag. And in the top is a little tag that again I made with Edith Holden paper. So here I've got another glassine bag pocket, and I've decoupaged these partridges on here, and down here I've got some die cuts of leaves and things. That one's got a bit grungy and roughed up, but I think it suits it anyway. And in the back here we've got one of the journaling cards from the kit. Whoopsies. And also here's another one from the kit. Here I've got one of my boho beads, and this one was made with fabric that was used for the pocket at the front here. And I've got a little leaf hanging off there. And that's on this, like, it's like a flower. It's not an applique, it was like oh my goodness, it was just a big piece of fabric joined together with all these flowers, so I cut the flowers off. So there's another page that I've decorated with decoupage mushroom, some stamping, some stenciling, and here it says, "Every leaf speaks bliss to me, fluttering from the autumn tree," and Emily Bronte said that. So this is the Edith Holden paper here, and oh no, it's not the middle yet. And I've done some decoupage here. On this glassine bag, I've done some coffee dye-in, and this is a tea bag that's been used, and I snipped the little tab from the tea bag onto the bag here. Done a little bit of collage, and I've just put in here 3 more of the leaves that Stephen really kindly pressed for me, and one's a skeleton leaf and a bit of fern, and I'm not quite sure if that's what that one is actually. Somebody might know, but I've just popped them in behind the tea bag. And then this opens here, and inside is another journaling card from Andrea's kit. Just fold all that up. I love the sound that it makes. Right, okay, fold over you. So on the other side of the glassine bag, again, this is a decoupage that I did on some calico, and I cut it out and stuck it on here. Here we've got a tag that I've made from backing paper, not backing paper, one of the pages from the kit. And here's a mushroom that I've also decoupaged onto calico and stuck on here. Put some trim at the top. The pocket is part of the kit here. And then if I take him out, here I've made some more, well, of the snippet that I made, the snippet roll, I've made like a little pocket here. And here is my little squirrels. I love doing these. I've mounted this one on black card, and he's really firm, and he's got a little pine cone dangling from his tail. So I thought he would be good to hide in there. So here's a page from the kit. This is Edith Holden paper, and now we're at the centre of the signature, and this is a beautiful page from the book of Edith Holden, and I've actually tied another pine cone and a leaf onto the middle signature strings. Another page from the kit. Here's one of my decorated pages. Again, I've got stamping and stenciling and decoupage, and I've got a quote here: "Anyone who thinks that fallen leaves are dead has never watched them dancing on a windy day." And here I've got a glassine bag I think it's the other half of the one that you've just seen with the tea bag on. And this owl was an image that Janet gave me on some like postcards, and I've layered it with a bit of a page from Andrea's kit and some doily and some music paper, and inside I've made a tag, and this was made with some wallpaper and I doubled it over. It's so pretty, and I didn't have many images of hedgehogs, so I thought I would use that in here. So we have another page that's been decoupage, stamped scripts. Here I've made another little collage with some of the wallpaper with the squirrel on it. This wallpaper I got at B&Q, and it was basically a woodland themed one. So I cut this out, and I think you saw the little rabbit on the other collage. Well, that came from the same wallpaper. So here I've just layered up bits of fabric and silk and fibres. And there's a little tiny red safety pin here with a little tiny acorn hanging off it. And then on this side, I've put a glassine bag. And this is actually an original vintage tea card, Brooke Bondi, I think it is. And inside here, I've got this little notebook. I've stapled a little bit of the snippet at the top. I just got to remember which way to open it. That's it, and you open it up, and yes, I did make this out of book pages from Andrea's kit, and inside I made a little pocket here and a little tuck up here, all from her kit, and these are her bits of ephemera that I actually shrunk down for this little booklet. So I'll just put that there for a moment. We have another book page from Andrea's kit, and in this pocket we've got a fox tag. And again, this is backed onto some Edith Holden paper. And this pocket is actually another one of the fabric squares that Janet gifted me. It's got a little mouse on it, so I thought that looked quite good there. So again, we've got decoupage, stamping, there's some burlap stenciling. That's the other half of that page from Andrea's kit that I bled with water in the oven. Some decoupage here, and another page I've decorated, and this one says, "I'm so glad that I live in a world where there are Octobers," and Anne of Green Gables said that. So there's plenty of journaling room in here for Janet. Page from the kit, and here we've got a coffee paper page, and I've put a jelly bean soup bag here, pocket, that was gifted to me by Andrea, and there's a little tea bag tuck, and hanging from that is a little bit of tatting and this little pumpkin, metal pumpkin, and I made a little tag. I don't know where I got that image from. It might be a Tim Holtz one, I'm not entirely sure. This is another freebie ticket from Andrea on Junk Journal Junkies. And then in behind here is another one of her journaling cards. On this page here, getting a bit full, this is some sari silk that I purchased from Sheila on Boho Daydreams, and I've just layered up a little bit of a collage of fluffy bits and wool and doily here. And inside this pocket, which is actually a linen little bag that I got from the works, I've got this little booklet. Again, I've used Andrea's, I think this was one of her journaling cards actually that opens out. And on here I've got autumn and the dictionary, what it is, what autumn is, which is the season of increase, the third season of the year, and autumnal of a belonging to autumn. And I got this little squirrel here, and I've just layered up a decoupage here, collage I mean. And inside this little booklet I've got some of the snippet roll that I've made into a little tuck spot, and I put a little button on here, and there's a picture of an owl that I got off the internet, off Pinterest. And on this side I've made a little pocket, and there's another picture of an owl I've backed onto a card. There's a little acorn there, a little die cut, and there's a little mushroom die cut back there with some cheesecloth. So that goes in there. I've put a lot of owls into this because I know that Janet loves owls. So we got another bit of Edith Holden paper with some decoupage and some stenciling. And here's another one of Andrea's pages, and I've got autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower, and this has been decoupaged on here. Oh, I actually whipped past, I think. Yes, I did. Look, sorry, I will go back. There's another boho bead here hanging off this leaf from that pocket with a squirrel in that I forgot to show you. Sorry, I just remembered because I looked at this one. And this one's all tangled up. And it always happens on camera, doesn't it? Right, so here's another boho bead with a bit of sari silk and wire for that. And here I've got a tag, which is actually a little pocket with another tag inside. I'm sorry about the lighting, it's really quite dark at the moment. So again, this is one of Andrea's tags from the kit, and I've layered up this hair. And this is another one of the fabric squares of all the animals that Janet gifted me. So that just slots in there. And that's on a back piece of my eco paper, eco dyed paper. So here's the other half of those doilies. And on this page, I've another little fabric hair, some more decoupage of some conkers and mushrooms here. And up here it says, fall is about releasing the old to make way for the new. And here's another page, another colourful page with blackberries and a little squirrel. And the quote says, autumn is the mellower season, and what we lose in flowers we more than gain in fruits. This is a page from Andrea's kit. And again, this is some stenciling, some stamping. This is a little pocket that I've made. This little burlap piece was actually a little pouch that either Andrea or Janet gifted me. So I used the back, well, the top of that. And then there's a tea bag in behind. And I've stamped on some linen, a bit of the Montbretia. And this is actually one of Janet's tags that she's made. And when I went to visit her one day, she gave me a few of them, and I took this one and I thought I'm going to put that in her journal that I make her. So she's got a bit of her own work in here. And that's the back page. I've got Autumn Glories up here. I think that was on Andrea's page. I've stamped hummingbird tails. You can just about see it. And in this back pocket here, I've got another piece of my snippet on a paper clip that I've just clipped to here. And there's another dictionary definition of autumn. And in this pocket, I've done an altered envelope for Janet. I've used some of my eco dyed paper for this. So I'll start here. So I've layered some music paper, some cheesecloth. And this is another little fabric owl square that I was gifted by Janet. And I've done some stamping here, put some stamps there, a little bit of a collage down there. And I've just tied some string around it to keep it all together. So I'll take the string off. And on the back here is another skeleton leaf that Stephen put together for me. So I've included that. And this is the back of the envelope. And inside, what I've actually got in here, these are some vintage pages from a nature book that I've got, and it's all about owls because I know how much Janet loves owls. So I didn't know any other way to include them in this journal without, you know, destroying the pages really, or cutting them up. There's bits of pieces everywhere. So birds of the night. So I'm sure Janet will enjoy that. So there we go. That is my autumn journal. It is a design team project for ArtyMaze. It is very late, but you know me. I'll just put that there. So I hope, Janet, you like your journal. And thank you very much, everybody, for looking through this journal with me. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll be back again very soon. Bye for now.